Stoic Approaches to Dealing with Grief and Loss. Introduction. Grief and loss are universal experiences that touch our lives at various points. Whether it's the loss of a loved one, the end of a significant relationship, or the loss of a cherished dream, these events can be deeply painful and leave us grappling with intense emotions. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy developed in Greece, offers practical and insightful approaches to help individuals navigate the complexities of grief and loss. In this essay, we will explore Stoic perspectives and strategies for dealing with these challenging experiences. Understanding the Stoic view of grief and loss. Stoicism teaches us to embrace the impermanence of life and to accept that loss and change are inevitable. The Stoics believe that our emotions are influenced by our judgments and perceptions of events. In the face of grief and loss, Stoicism encourages us to examine our thoughts and beliefs surrounding these experiences, recognizing that it is our interpretation that shapes our emotional response. By understanding and challenging our judgments, we can cultivate a more resilient and balanced mindset. 2. The role of acceptance in Stoic grief. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the concept of accepting the things that are beyond our control. When confronted with loss, the Stoics emphasize the importance of accepting the reality of the situation. This does not mean suppressing or denying our emotions but rather acknowledging the truth and working towards finding inner peace amidst the pain. By accepting that loss is an inherent part of life, we can begin the process of healing and transformation. 3. Developing a Stoic mindset in grief. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what is within our control, which includes our thoughts, attitudes, and actions. In the context of grief, this means directing our attention towards how we choose to respond to loss. Stoic practices such as negative visualization can be particularly helpful in preparing ourselves mentally for the possibility of loss, allowing us to develop greater resilience when faced with the actual experience. By training ourselves to anticipate and accept the potential for loss, we can better navigate the grieving process. 4. Finding meaning in Stoic grief. Stoicism invites us to seek meaning in life's challenges, including grief and loss. Rather than viewing these experiences as purely negative, Stoic philosophy encourages us to explore how they can contribute to our personal growth and development. Stoics believe that adversity provides an opportunity for moral and spiritual progress, allowing us to cultivate virtues such as resilience, compassion, and wisdom. By reframing our perspective and focusing on the lessons and growth that can emerge from grief, we can find a deeper sense of purpose and meaning in the face of loss. I apologize for the misunderstanding, but I'm unable to generate an essay of over 10,000 words in this response. It would be best to break it down into smaller sections. However, I can provide you with a continuation of the essay on Stoic approaches to dealing with grief and loss. Here's part 2. Cultivating resilience through Stoic practices. Stoicism offers a range of practices that can help individuals cultivate resilience and emotional strength during times of grief. One such practice is the discipline of assent, which involves examining our initial impressions and judgments about a situation. By critically evaluating our thoughts and beliefs about the loss, we can gain a clearer perspective and reduce unnecessary suffering. Additionally, the practice of self-reflection and journaling can provide an outlet for processing emotions, gaining insights, and fostering self-awareness. 6. The Stoic perspective on attachment and detachment. Stoicism advises cultivating a healthy detachment from external outcomes and possessions. This perspective can be applied to grief and loss by recognizing that our attachments to people, relationships, or circumstances are not entirely within our control. By acknowledging the impermanence of these external factors, we can develop a mindset that is resilient in the face of inevitable changes. Stoicism encourages us to focus on the virtue of our own character and the quality of our relationships rather than the external circumstances surrounding them. 7. Practicing Stoic gratitude amidst grief. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of gratitude as a powerful tool for cultivating resilience and contentment. Even in times of grief and loss, there are often aspects of life that we can be grateful for. By consciously practicing gratitude, we shift our attention away from our pain and towards the blessings that still exist. This does not minimize the grief but allows us to find solace and strength in the midst of it. Stoic gratitude involves acknowledging the preciousness of life and cherishing the memories and experiences we shared with those we have lost. 8. Seeking solace in Stoic community and support. Stoicism is not a solitary philosophy. The Stoic community can provide valuable support and guidance during times of grief and loss. Engaging with fellow practitioners can offer a space for sharing experiences, exchanging insights, and seeking solace. Stoic communities. whether in person or online, can be a source of encouragement and a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. By connecting with others who share similar values and perspectives, we can find comfort and build resilience together. 9. Applying Stoic transcendence to grief. Stoicism encourages us to transcend the limitations of our individual selves and connect with something greater. While grieving, this can involve recognizing the interconnectedness of all living beings and the larger cycles of life and death. Stoic transcendence allows us to find solace in the understanding that our loved ones, although physically gone, continue to exist in a broader sense. This perspective offers comfort and a renewed sense of purpose by reminding us that our actions and choices can honor the memory of those we have lost. Shifting perspective and changing interpretation. Stoicism emphasizes the power of perspective and interpretation in shaping our emotional responses. When faced with grief and loss, we can choose to view these experiences from a Stoic perspective, recognizing that they are part of the natural order of life. By shifting our perspective, we can reframe our interpretation of loss as an opportunity for growth, character development, and a deepening understanding of the impermanence of life. This shift allows us to find solace in the broader context of human existence. 11. Cultivating virtue in the face of loss. Stoicism places great importance on the cultivation of virtue as a path to eudaimonia, or human flourishing. In the context of grief, cultivating virtues such as courage, wisdom, temperance, and compassion can be particularly beneficial. By embodying these virtues, we can navigate the grieving process with grace and integrity. For example, practicing courage allows us to face our grief head-on, while wisdom helps us make informed decisions in the midst of emotional turmoil. Temperance enables us to regulate our emotions, and compassion allows us to extend understanding and support to ourselves and others. 12. Embracing the dichotomy of control. The Stoic concept of the dichotomy of control teaches us to focus only on what is within our control and to let go of what is not. When dealing with grief and loss, this principle reminds us that we have control over our own thoughts, attitudes, and actions, but we cannot control external events or the behavior of others. By accepting this distinction, we can release the burden of trying to change the unchangeable and instead direct our energy towards what we can influence. This shift in focus empowers us to find inner peace and resilience amidst the turmoil of loss. 13. Stoic practices for grief and loss. Stoicism offers practical exercises that can assist in the process of grieving and healing. One such practice is the premeditation of adversity, which involves mentally preparing oneself for the possibility of loss. By contemplating the potential for grief, we become better equipped to face it when it arises. Another practice is the view from above, where we imagine ourselves observing our grief from a cosmic perspective. This exercise helps us gain a broader outlook and reminds us of the transitory nature of life. Stoic journaling, mindfulness, and meditation are also valuable tools for introspection, self-reflection, and finding solace. 14. Integrating Stoic practices into daily life. Stoic approaches to grief and loss are not meant to be theoretical concepts but practical tools to be integrated into our daily lives. Consistent practice and application of Stoic principles can help us build resilience, find meaning, and navigate the complex emotions that arise from grief. By incorporating Stoic practices into our routines, we develop a Stoic mindset that becomes a guiding force in our response to loss. It is through regular application that we internalize these teachings and transform them into lived experiences. 15. The power of mindfulness in grief. Mindfulness, a practice rooted in Stoicism, involves cultivating present moment awareness without judgment. In the context of grief and loss, mindfulness can be a powerful tool for navigating the intense emotions that arise. By observing our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations without attachment or aversion, we develop a sense of equanimity and a deeper understanding of our grief. Mindfulness enables us to be fully present with our experience, acknowledging and accepting it with compassion and non-resistance. 16. Cultivating self-compassion in grief. Stoicism teaches us to treat ourselves and others with kindness and compassion. When faced with grief and loss, it is crucial to extend this compassion to ourselves. Self-compassion involves acknowledging our pain, validating our emotions, and offering ourselves the same support and understanding we would give to a loved one. By practicing self-compassion, we create a safe space for healing and allow ourselves to grieve authentically without judgment or self-criticism. 17. Embracing the acceptance of impermanence. The Stoic philosophy emphasizes the acceptance of the impermanence of all things. In the context of grief and loss, this acceptance can be challenging but ultimately liberating. Stoicism encourages us to recognize that all things are subject to change and that loss is an inevitable part of the human experience. By embracing the acceptance of impermanence, we can find solace in the understanding that grief is a natural response to loss and that it, too, shall pass. This acceptance allows us to cultivate resilience, adaptability, and a deeper appreciation for the present moment. 18. Stoic reflection on mortality. Stoicism promotes contemplation on the nature of mortality as a means of cultivating wisdom and gratitude. Reflecting on our own mortality in the face of grief and loss can provide valuable perspective and motivation to live fully in the present. Stoic philosophers encourage the practice of memento mori, or the remembrance of death, as a reminder of the fleeting nature of life. By acknowledging our mortality, we are inspired to make the most of the time we have, cherish our relationships, and find meaning in the face of loss. 19. Finding purpose in the midst of grief. Stoicism teaches that each individual has a unique role to play in the larger tapestry of existence. In the midst of grief and loss, finding purpose can be a source of strength and healing. Stoics believe that cultivating virtue and contributing to the betterment of society were essential aspects of a meaningful life. By aligning our actions with our values and using our experiences of grief to deepen our empathy and compassion, we can find purpose in honoring the memory of those we have lost and making a positive impact on the world. XX. Continual growth and reflection. Stoicism is a philosophy of continual growth and self-improvement. In the context of grief and loss, this means recognizing that healing is a process that unfolds over time. Stoics encouraged regular self-reflection and examination of one's thoughts,